Hello and welcome to the Weber channel. I am Jason, your host. I want to talk about the UK disability system. When compared to many countries, it is pretty damn amazing. There is better out there, no doubt. And it could be improved, it could have more money from the government and so on. And it makes mistakes. But compared to some other countries, we are in so much better situation. And I'm not just talking about third world countries, which you would expect that their mental health programs would not be as good. I'm talking about places like Canada and places like America. Their disability, these are the first world advanced countries, and they have shit. Absolute fucking shit. Disability support. It's really sad. There's even some European countries. I'm not talking low down. We're talking first world countries that have really, really bad mental health support. I tried to help earlier in the year, advise a friend in Canada to try to get on disability or to try sort out disability. And after they went through all the different parts and I looked into it for them and that, I could not find anything that could help them. In America, I've got a friend in America who, for the past 2 years, has been trying to get on disability in America. She's got an advocate, she's got someone fighting for her, and the way the advocate system works in America is it's free. The person fighting for you, the law firm that fights for you, doesn't take any money from you, but they take a percentage of what you get if you get on, because if you're fighting it for 2 years and you finally get on it, they have to back pay you all of that money. And so the advocate takes a percentage of that. So the advocate is very motivated to get you on thingy. So that's good. But even with a good advocate in that, she's been denied. And this is a person who I know is on the ropes, is not doing well, and doesn't deserve to be this. And it always makes me feel, what? The disability services in the UK are so much better. Yes, mistakes are made, yes, things go wrong in that, but every interaction that I've had since I was since 2019 has been very good. Before then, yeah, it was not good. Not good at all. But there was improvements made in the entire system. Even Capita, the company that does the actual reviews and things like that and assessments and that, has changed massively. Used to be they would probably basically hire anybody, but now they all their hires, all the people that they use for reviews are actually medical professionals. You're much more likely to talk to a person other than a computer. And I remember back in 2019 about this, but you got to remember, while looking after Paola, this was back when it was a different system. For 18 years, I would have to go through the hell of helping Paola with her review, and I would have to fight on her side. And it very much triggered many issues for me, because Paola was dying of cancer. There should have been, couldn't do a lot of things herself, and she shouldn't have had a problem thinking. But back then it was, every time we got the letter that we dread to say there was going to be a review, it was psychological torture. And they would send letters like, once you'd got a review, they'd try to take your money down a little bit. And if they took your money down a little bit, they said, oh, you can appeal this, but if you lose the appeal, then you'll have to pay back. And things like that. And it was they've changed the system massively. Because in 2019, when Capita first talked to me, I thought, oh my god, things are going to go wrong, Because remember, I'm depressed. I have always got depression. I've always got this side of me that expects the worst, the very worst, always expects the worst in every situation. I know it's not real, but it's with bipolar type 2, it's always there. I have to fight against it all the time. And so, in 2019, my doctors were convinced that we'd have to appeal, because remember, I wasn't the one who suggested going for disability. Because at this time, everybody said, oh, you just got reactive depression, just reactive depression. Nobody had taken a look at me, and it was mainly my fault, because I had been spending all my time looking after Paola, and therefore I hadn't looked after my mental health or put myself forward with anyone. I was very surprised when I did my autistic review that someone said, oh yeah, we've got notes down on your thingy that the mental health care people that came out to see your wife and saw you and had noted down that they thought you were autistic back in 2015. And nobody had told me at that then. But even if they had told me back then, I wouldn't have done anything, because I was so focused on looking after Paola. My day started at 6 a.m. every single morning and ended at midnight. I didn't have to. You got to remember, I didn't have time for YouTube. I didn't have time for Twitch. I followed no one. The only time I used YouTube was for how-to guides. That was it. Most of my gaming involved following Paola around. It's like when I managed to do things like getting Paola to the local Comic-Con and pushing her wheelchair around, I was invisible. I always hid in the back. I mean, I tried to make sure that it was Paola's event. It was something for her to get signatures of all these people, even though I loved them as well, and I would have loved to have stuff. It wasn't for me, it was for her. My entire psyche while Paola was alive was, I've got to make sure that Paola's okay, that Paola comes first. Paola's dying. I've got to make sure. And so my entire life was focused on that. And so I probably went to the doctor probably once every couple of years, which they always complained about. So in 2019, when I was convinced by my GP, by my senior psychologist, by my therapist, by my mental health professional who was looking into my ADHD, by the bipolar professional who was looking into that, into my depression and everything, it all convinced me that I should be on there. we all expected. And my trauma professional, who was helping me with bowel cancer and remission from bowel cancer. Yeah, and then it's like, oh, okay, everybody, and then the Cancer Trust and the charity, they were keeping in touch every week and saying, when they deny your disability, let us know so we can start the appeal. And it's like, at the time I was like, no. This was about the time that I was giving up on life as well, and it was like, no. And she was like, and then everybody was checking on me, and this was the time when the Departments of Work and Pension, the disability benefits people, actually rang me and said, hey, you've been flagged on our system as being severely disabled. It says, if you're okay with that flag, because they were asking me whether it was okay that they had put this flag on my system that I was severely disabled, because nobody likes to be labelled. And I remember I was in the backyard just pottering about. I was just there with the phone. I had the phone in my pocket. I was like, because whenever I went in the backyard, I'd take one of the house phones back then inside a pocket just in case people called me. And that they said to me, are you okay with this? Because if you are, you'll get extra money per week. You've been flagged as being severely disabled. That's how I found out that my PIP, my personal independence payment, had actually gone through. Was through that flagging up on the system. The letter came a few days later. And it says, so by flagging this on the system, it says, if you're okay with it, we can backdate this. And you'll get money from the date that we started the complaint claim. And this was after I had been seen by Capita, and they came out to see me. They read all the notes. The lovely lady came to my house, and I was sitting down in the living room, and she said to me, I can get you to walk upstairs and things like that and check you there, but all the mental health things, she says, we've got someone at the office who can look at your stuff, but it's probably best if I go back to the office. And I thought, oh God, no, they'll say that I didn't get. I expected a totally negative. I expected them to lie. I expected them to cancel their chance of getting on there, because you hear so many horror stories. And instead, the next thing I heard was from DWP that I was on personal independence payment. Now you can see this as a positive, and it is a positive, but it also shows just how fucked up I was. Just how fucked up I am, that I am that screwed up, that I do deserve this help, that the system does recognise that I am having issues. And now with the Motability scheme and everything that I should be able to get on, and that this is just an amazing thing that a lot of countries don't have. Yes, it's a charity, but it's a charity backed by the government, and it's a charity backed in connection with all the other things. And it's also a business, so let's not be wrong about that, it's also a business. But the fact that I'm in a situation where I can still be helped, well, in so many countries out there, they can't. and they have to appeal like 2, 3, 4 times. And here's something about the American fucking service. This: if you apply for disability in America, if you fucking apply for disability in America, and you survive until your appeal go through and everything, they will use the fact that you were able to survive to say that you don't deserve disability. Most modern and most forthright country in the world, and that's what their disability service is. If you somehow manage to scrape by and do odd jobs and keep yourself alive during the disability appeals and everything, they will use that against you. They will use that against you. So I am very grateful. I mean, I've still got to wait for my appeal, my review to come through. I've still got to wait for it, and I might have to appeal in that. But whatever happens, disabled people in the UK are treated far better than some countries. Some countries are better. Some countries are better. But we're even with the defunding and the lack of funds and everything, and the alienation and everything, I have to fight against my depression, which always looks on the negative, and see that I've been looked after. By the system. And part of the reason I'm still alive is because of this system. So this is Jason for the Weber channel.